34 missing after diving boat catches fire near California coast. Officials in Southern California say that 34 people are unaccounted for after a diving boat caught fire near the state's coastline early Monday morning. The fire began about 3:30 a.m. on a 75-foot boat anchored in the waters near Santa Cruz Island in the Channel Islands, a national park about 20 miles off the California coast near the cities of Onyx and Santa Barbara. Coast Guard officials say they believe there were 39 people aboard the vessel, the Conception, at the time of the fire, and that 5 people were rescued, all of them crew members. Rochester told reporters that the crew was awake and on the ship's bridge when the fire began and that they jumped off the boat as the blaze engulfed it. The passengers were below deck and likely asleep. The boat has numerous bunk-style beds capable of hosting dozens of passengers. Bill Nash, a spokesman for Ventura County, said the officials believe the boat was on a scuba trip in the area. A website for the company that owns the boat listed a charter for the long Labor Day weekend, an excursion advertised as a live aboard dive trip to the scenic waters around the islands. The boat was scheduled to return to Santa Barbara on Monday afternoon. Such live aboard trips allow divers to make several dives per day and to anchor near popular dive sites without having to return to shore in between. The typical allows divers to eat, sleep, and relax while traveling to and from the sites. The boat was anchored in Platts Harbor, about 20 yards from the shoreline on Santa Cruz Island, raising hopes that some of the missing had to swim to shore, but officials expected fatalities. Emergency workers and dive crews from nearby counties were assisted in search and rescue efforts both on land and under the sea. Divers load additional dive equipment onto the LASD Air Rescue 5 to assist with the rescue response to the vessel fire off of Santa Cruz Island. Multiple people missing. The boat sank in about 65 feet of water after the fire. Mike Elysian, a spokesman for the Santa Barbara County Fire Department, said that the boat is registered to Truth Aquatics, a company that runs diving trips and also charters boats for private excursions. A person who picked up the phone at the company office declined to comment Monday morning. The Conception is one of 3 dive boats operated by Truth Aquatics, a 35-year-old company based in Santa Barbara. The fleet used for anything from days-long dive expeditions to day fishing trips is well known among locals and visitors, with offices along a pier at the edge of the Santa Barbara Harbor. The boat is built for utilities rather than comfort. Much of the deck space is dedicated to a wide area behind the wheelhouse where divers have the space to prepare tanks and gear before entering into the water. Below deck, charter guests who can book in groups or individually stay for overnight island trips. It can sleep up to 36 people on 13 double bunks and 20 single bunks that are stacked in rows of 3 and 3. The boat has a large galley and a pair of air compressors to fill the divers' tanks. At a relatively slow speed of 10 knots, the Conception can make it out to Santa Cruz Island in a few hours, a trip it has made countless times since launching in 1981. Ventura County Fire Department spokesman Captain Brian McGrath said that officials were in the process of getting a more accurate manifest for the ship and cautions that preliminary numbers of those aboard and missing could change. The Channel Island is a popular destination for lovers of the outdoors and marine life. A trip itinerary on a California-based dive company said it had chartered the ship this weekend. The ship departed in the early hours Saturday morning, headed for a series of islands in the national park in the search of quality scuba diving. Nutrition-rich waters bathing this island bring big fish, halibut, bugs, rockfish, wolfeels, lingcod, the trip description said. The subterraneous geology at Boomerang, skyscrapers, Richardson, and Wilson Rock will blow you away. The island also hosts pristine, shallow reefs hosting an incredible diverse collection of sea life. Night dives are delightful. Octopi roam the reefs. The boat was scheduled to return on Monday afternoon. Basically, down below, there are sleeping areas. The crew sleeps up above. It's a beautiful boat, but a bad idea if you have a tragedy like this.